Alias Smith and Jones. That was a TV series that came out in the 70s. I didn't see it when it was originally aired, but I saw it on syndication in the 80s. I really liked this one. Um, it starred Pete Duell and Ben Murphy. Ben Murphy was my favorite. Now, apparently, was it partway through the second season or something along those lines? Uh, Pete Duell committed suicide and Roger Davis took over. For years, I didn't really like the Roger Davis episodes, but they grew on me. Roger Davis, prior to taking over a starring role, was often the narrator on episodes. So I think he was pretty lucky for being at the right place at the right time. Uh, so when they needed a replacement for Pete Duell, he was right there, ready to say, "I'll do it, I'll do it," and worked out well for him. Um, the uh, the basic story is, of course, ridiculous, like most TV shows. Um, they had been bank robbers for many years, but they wanted to go straight. And the governor said that he would give them amnesty, but they had to keep their noses clean for a certain amount of time. And then he would give them amnesty, but it was all a big secret. So, as far as everybody else was concerned, they were still wanted. So, these are wanted guys who are going around with aliases, right? Because they can't go by their real names. But as they go around and they try to keep their nose clean, they inevitably run into all kinds of situations where they have to get involved to set something right. Um, it's a fun show. I liked it. Pete Duell, he was that character who was Smith. He was the brains, and Jones, which was Ben Murphy, he was the brawn kind of. Now, this is in Western speak, so brawn then, in TV shows and movies, is being a fast gun, which is really funny because in the TV and movie westerns are really not much like the real old west. You know how fast you were with a gun wasn't really much of a thing in the old west because if you were going to have a gunfight with somebody, why would you give them a fair chance to draw on you? you know you wouldn't do that. Most killings in the old west were probably ambushes. um, the guy getting shot probably didn't see it coming. There wasn't much of this. Okay, we're going to square off on Main Street, and I'm going to let you draw first, and then I'm going to try to beat you, getting my gun out and shooting you. That's so ridiculous, but that's very Hollywood. As you know, if you've worked in any field that is covered by Hollywood, how completely inaccurate they are with it, whether it's medical field or teaching or police work, whatever the case, they never get it right. And so certainly they don't get the old west right. But it's entertaining. I mean that's what we want, is we want entertainment, and they're good at that. After Pete Duell died and Roger Davis took over, the show kind of collapsed. You know, until Pete died, the show was ascending. It was getting, it wasn't a big hit, but it was doing all right and starting to catch on. But when Pete Duell died, that killed the show too. Um, it's a good time. A lot of the episodes are funny. Of course, a lot of them are very convoluted, but overall, it's an enjoyable time. Um, they deal with a lot of con men in the show. Of course, Pete Duell is pretty much a con man himself. Um, but it's a fun time. It's enjoyable. It's a nice, easy watch. They have a lot of guest stars on there. You'll probably recognize, especially some of the women who guest star on here. I know Sally Field was one that was on there regularly. But it's a fun show. It's one of my favorite TV westerns. Give it a shot if you haven't tried it. I think you'll like it. And like I say, I didn't really love the Roger Davis ones originally, but later on I grew to love them.